So we're going to talk about something a little bit different today. I'm going to try to keep it brief. I mean, being a Sunday afternoon, I usually don't do videos on Sundays, but I happened to catch afternoon tea with Az this morning, which is Heels versus Babyface, as you may know him. He's also on FNT and a couple other things. And he talked about the state of fandom with regards to Star Trek and Star Wars and things of that nature, and I'm gonna disagree with him a little bit. Splitting hairs maybe by some people's opinion, fine, whatever, but nonetheless. So he was talking about how franchise or fandom is dead. You know, that these corporations, they corporatize it and they killed the fandom. I'm gonna say no to that with a caveat. And now if you were to say that they've killed the modern, you know, iterations of the fandom, I'd agree with you 100%. But if you'd say that they killed the OG fandom, no. I mean, we're very much alive, you know, gray hair and all, and some of us hair and all, or some in the, you know, no slight to ask, no hair and all. I mean, you know, we're still here. We still talk about it. I mean, if we didn't, shows like the Real BBC, FNT with Gary from Nerdrotic and all the rest of the crew, and Shad and Ryan and 3PO and the gang. I mean, these other shows simply wouldn't exist if the franchises were truly dead. But I get the point he's making. I certainly understand that, and the other point of contention I have is that it split the fandom. Yes and no. I mean, what they tried to do is they tried to appeal to a modern audience to push the message, as the drinker would say. So in that sense, I'd say that they're correct, but really what it is they tried to appeal to a mass audience, and that's not really, I think, was ever the intention of these franchises back in the day. They were simply making entertainment. I don't know that it was necessarily the point they were trying to appeal to a mass audience, to appeal to all people. I'd like to believe that they were smart enough back then that they knew they were only going to reach so many people. I mean, they reached, and that's why I have the argument I do, because even back in my day, they didn't just capture nerds like me. They got my dad. My dad, he's a fucking normie. Love my dad, but he's a normie. He's into this stuff, but not at the level that we are. He didn't follow it. He didn't read the comic books. He didn't play with the action figures. I mean, he was already an adult. He was raising me. I was a kid. And so we were more into it than they were. But he still loves it to this day. He didn't really follow up and watch the prequels. And I'll be honest, I wasn't really a fan of the prequels at first. But over time, I mean, they've grown on me. With the third, Revenge of the Sith, probably my favorite. And mainly because it completes the story arc of Vader. I mean, that's kind of the big thing. The others is, you know, one and two, they're okay for what they are. But like I said, they've still aged better over time than the crap that they're putting out now. What they're putting out now is so forgettable. And probably one of the most enjoyable moments I've had was probably, I think, not last year, 2021, I think, is when I went on a trip with my family to Tahoe. My dad and I went and saw Top Gun Maverick. Loved it. Fantastic. I mean, a sequel a long time in the making, but they did it right. And I think I've talked about this before in a previous video. But yeah, I mean, that's really all I wanted to say. We're very much alive. We're not going anywhere. We're keeping these things alive. We're still talking about it. You know, those of us who have kids, we're teaching our kids about these and showing them the things that we love. So in that sense, it'll never die. But they are being forced to listen to us now because we are speaking very loud in the one way that we can. And at some point, and I think we're starting to approach parity there, they can't ignore us. because it's gonna cost them. Anyways, that's all for now. Happy reading.